Micah has taught sustainable farming at UNM-Taos, and she started the Farmhouse Café and Bakery. She feeds 800 people, kids, 800 meals a day, 800 meals a day. This woman makes happen for the Pueblo and for the schools. Yes. She's an organic farmer and Waldorf educator for 35 years, but mostly she's cooking amazing food and growing food. When she was in Mexico in 2011, she saw the future of food sovereignty, the health of the environment, and the future of children were deeply intertwined. Yes, ma'am. Let's give it up for Micah.
Is that Micah thing? Thank you for that applause. I do have a team that helps me share that with them. And so my name is Micah Roseberry. I did start the Farmhouse Cafe, and I actually still own that cafe. And I have a nonprofit that is a community nonprofit, AIRE, Agriculture Implementation, Research and Education. And we support the school lunch program. Actually, we make that school lunch program, and we also farm at all the schools. So at this point, we have 4 high tunnel greenhouses and a grow dome and the garden at Parr Field. And we are working with farmers and ranchers and bringing that food closer to home. We're helping them increase their production. And then we also just got a grant for a refrigerated truck that we can help farmers move their food. And instead of getting $1,500 worth of food every week from California, we are working on going just to Southern Colorado, where they have organic carrots, organic quinoa, organic potatoes, a lot of food, as well as our local farms here. So we also have a CSA, which is with 10 local farmers, and they bring food each week together, and so we sell shares. We are openly selling those now, but I just wanted to give you a little feeling. I'm not trying to sell anything. I think what I'm trying to sell is to myself. Jenny and I met up, and I said, I'd love to come because I love coming here. And I look out, I see so many familiar faces and people that are all part of our community. And there's so much love in this room. I felt it as soon as I got out of my car. It's on this land. And that's, I think, what we really need to magnify right now. We're here at the Equinox, and it's a little, a few days after, but it's really about that balance of the light and the dark. And we are, now a few days into the light. So that's a good tipping point, because every day there's so much, in a way, available for us to worry about. I think I love some of the songs that we just sang today, that what your thoughts are your prayers. And so, if we get in the whole vibe of, war and lack and all of the things, the chaos that's being created, then we are, kind of adding to that dimension. And I think that for me, the more that I can find, for me, it's seva, it's work, it's giving back to the community that helps me keep every day knowing that there's a positive thing that's going to happen, and that we as a community are on a path of an awesome amount of abundance, in our, like we talked about the flowers. I love the flower meditation, and that is like a really powerful thought right now. Yesterday I was at a Mayan fire ceremony, and we were underneath a cherry tree that should not be really blooming for like another month. But who am I to tell that cherry tree what to do? And I really enjoyed seeing all the blossoms, and all the bees were out, and they were really talking about, they were singing about something, you know, and so I just really took that in, and I feel like that every day we have that choice, you know, and that we can, through our relationship, for me, with nature, with the seasons, that we can follow along. We're being guided. Like I said, I'm not in charge of the cherry trees, and, you know, the earth is holding us. And so even though it looks like we don't have a lot of water right now, the last 2 years, we didn't have a lot of water either. And there were people last year who said, we're not going to plant this year because there's no water. And I'm like, well, that's a sure way to make sure you don't have any food if you don't plant. And, you know, we have our neighbors here at the Taos Pueblo that I have some friends there I work closely with, and they spend the whole season praying and praying for rain. And so we're really lucky to have that neighbor, and we can join in here, and we can join in actually at their corn ceremonies. They love for us to come, and it's such a beautiful moment. But that I think what I'm leading into here is that we are a regenerative community, right? Like my topic is really regenerative farming and biodynamic farming, and the art of balance, which when I made up that title, my prayer was that I would find balance in my life, because that's something that I have been seeking, because I am really good at juggling and I have a lot of balls in the air. And but what I found is that through all of the things, whether seeing, you know, hearing the bees, seeing the flowers, today I was really excited to come, and I took a shower, and I was in the shower. All of a sudden I looked at the water, and the sun was streaming through the water, and it was just like magic. I'm like, what? Like, I take a shower a lot. Well, I've never seen that before. And I was just like, wow, I'm gonna be watching for this. So, you know, there's a lot of magic about, and maybe I want to tell one more little story for me, is that, you know, a lot of people remind me on a daily basis, you're so busy, or you have a full plate, and I do. And I found, though, that sometimes adding something to your plate can actually help the rhythm happen. And so for me, what happened is I live on a little farm where there are sheep, and the sheep bred a little bit early. And so that really cold spell that we had, like maybe about a month ago, around, I think, well, the end of February, the sheep started to have babies. And one of the sheep, they like to go off in the bushes by themselves. And that sheep kind of went out there without anyone really realizing, and had twins. And when we found them in the dark, they were really suffering because it was so cold. And it was a new mother, and it was really hard because they were twins, and I brought them in to warm them up, and one of them didn't make it, but the other one, who's named Milagro, made it. And so now I am kind of like the sheep mama, because she thinks I'm the mother. I fed her every 2 hours and kept her warm, and, you know, snuggled up, and brought her in my room, and now she's on a schedule to eat every 4 hours. And so I have an alarm, and I get up at midnight, and I get up at 4 a.m. And, you know, I mean, I actually have 4 children, and I never made formula and never had them on a schedule. But the point is, that could be the kind of thing that could push someone over the edge. And what I realized that it's actually giving me a rhythm. It's giving me a rhythm, and it's a beautiful thing. And so, you know, whatever we have in our lives, baby lamb, or, you know, we all have something. And if we can find the rhythm and start to see, you know, the beauty, I wanted to bring the baby lamb, but I thought it was a little much for her. But so I think what I wanted to say was that in my experience, I have been farming since I was 17. I didn't grow up a farmer. I just saw what was real and started to follow that, and made community gardens. And I came here about probably 39 years ago now, and I was the harvest manager at the Sustainable Native Agriculture Center in Arroyo Hondo at the old New Buffalo hippie commune. And it was after the hippie commune part But we grew quinoa and, all colors of Hopi corn and all the native corn from here. And, I kind of came from the Midwest with 2 buckets of seeds and I'd never seen any of this before. And the seeds really spoke to me. And so I started my journey here in Taos, to work with seeds and work with children and work with food and really actually help the culture stay alive, the traditional culture here. Because the seeds really know, they have like such a long history, way longer than ours and they hold that. And when you look at them, actually, oh, I saw. Is it okay if I touch this?
Yes.
Okay, so I think I was here last year, or was it last year? So I brought this bowl of blue corn. And in fact, we passed this bowl of blue corn around. And I'm going to do that right now. We're going to kind of reinvigorate. Thank you. We're going to reinvigorate this corn. But I want to tell a story about this corn. And I know that I got this corn from Friends of the Pueblo, and I've been growing it with children in Taos for all the years I've been here. And I planted corn on Cerro Vista Farm, where I used to farm. And the corn, the season was short and it froze early and the corn did not make it. It was like sweet corn, like with milk, the milk stage, like never would have made seed, no matter what. And I was really sad, and I was teaching full time at the Waldorf school, and I didn't know much about Chicos. I understand now why Chicos were invented, because if your corn doesn't make it, you make Chicos. And we have such a short season here. But we decided to plow that corn down into the ground to feed the ground, to feed the soil, which is what a regenerative farmer would do. And so lo and behold, though, the next spring, before it was way too early to plant. And I walked out and looked at that field, and there was corn everywhere. Like that corn had ripened underground. And it was the biggest cornfield I'd ever seen, the thickest. And we actually had to kind of, plow some pathways through it. But it really taught me a lot about kind of the unseen, like what you think here and what that turns into when you plant that. And if you put a little intention into that, and intention into your soil, intention into your water, just like intention into your life, it really weaves a really beautiful energy. And so I am going to pass. Can I pass that to you? Is everybody fine with passing things?
Sure.
Okay. And if you're not, you can just be like, I skip. Let's see. What's my time?
You
Fine.
have 25 minutes.
Okay. So let's see. So the thing I wanted to mention about community, I think, is that I went from growing my own food and having a little sprout business and then making a Waldorf school. And I went to Mexico, as actually Jenny mentioned, and I was there where the monarch butterflies winter, and they were just amazing. And I taught for a year there in a Mexican Waldorf school, and came back here and kind of thought I'd finish up a few things and head back. And I actually got involved in a project to save the 200 acres that are south of the Farmhouse Cafe that were ready to be turned into trophy homes and kind of a little mall and everything. So that was kind of the beginning of the Farmhouse Cafe. And because I, through the community, we raised enough awareness that we were able to attract a foundation to purchase that land. And so it's still being held today. But in the meantime, I was teaching at the Enos Garcia Elementary School, and we were going to paint butterflies on silk. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to tell them all about the monarchs. So I'm going to do a little research. So I have my facts straight. And I found out there were 59% less butterflies in 1 year, the pollinators, right? Which, we're all pretty aware of now. And so I then got the idea to start the Farmhouse Cafe, because I could prove if we can get organic food going and then we don't have to spray Roundup and all of the chemicals, then that would be like an education project. And I thought I could get that going. have a workers' co-op and head back to Mexico within 6 months. And I'm here about 14 years later. And that has expanded into feeding the children. And I think and engaging farmers. And I think what I'm wanting to sort of paint a picture of is that, whatever our for me, it was like a small dream, grow my own food, save seeds, teach a few students, teach a few classes, whatever. And now the program is expanded to a lot of different aspects that each push the other, like in a regenerative way. You grow food in a regenerative fashion. You put that into, you feed children, they're healthier. That pushes your economic system. You buy food locally, that pushes your economy. And so I actually have a flow chart, but I don't have it here. So, but the point of that is that all of the things that we are working on in our community, all are in that flow, and that we really have what we need here. And I think that it's a matter of identifying it, bringing it forward in whatever ways we can, and also sharing it out, just like today, praying together and sending that energy out is so powerful. And so what I want to create today is something that I work with, which is biophotonic water and also biodynamic preparations. And a biodynamic farmer is actually working with all of the elementals and frankly feeding the elementals and the cosmic forces and the energy from the sun and the stars. And so that's something that we can do. And so I don't know if anyone brought water. That was an idea that I had. I'm not sure if it went out there, but I brought water. And what we do is we're going to potentize that water, and we're going to put our intention in that water. And then what we're going to do is, if anybody would like to, I brought some jars. I'm sure we can find some other containers. You can take that water home, and what you do is you just kind of sprinkle it out. I usually use like a little pine, kind of like a little pine bough, or you can have a wad of grass. You can use a paintbrush. You can use your hand, but you just have your little, bowl or vessel, and you basically go around kind of the outline of wherever you live, and it magnifies that energy. And that is real. There's a lot of things that are real now that we weren't necessarily, we didn't read it in a textbook, and now it's all right coming out, and it's true. And that is one of the things that is so powerful for us. And I see that each one of you has a heart that is just emanating with an energetic that together we can be stronger and we can spread that. And I have a vision too that can be spread on the earth here at the community of love, and that can help the plantings that you have, and maybe some plantings that we can have, and a vision that maybe together that there could be a vision that forms that could be like watered and nurtured by our collective energy. So I think we want to actually stir some water together. So I'm hoping that there might be a few of you strong enough, brave enough, limber enough. I realized I maybe should have put that bowl up on the pedestal, but I was thinking it was a little wiggly. So I brought water today from the Rio Grande. I brought water from the Rio Hondo. We have water from the well here. And I think, did you bring some water from your place?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then what we do is you actually stir this water, you make a vortex. Okay. And before we do that, I'm going to once again pass some water around, and I would like for each person to put their intention or their prayer or their thought or image like into that water, because the water can really hold that. That's how homeopathic medicine is made and biophotonic medicine is made. And I actually brought some biophotonic water as well. So
Can you explain what biophotonic water is?
yeah, so biophotonic water is actually energized by by light. And so light now, and there are actually, devices, they're called, that emanate light and that then direct that into water or oil. And we are lucky enough to have here in Taos, Dr. Joseph Breslin, who has been a pioneer, and several other people as well working with water. And there is now research that they're curing cancer. And so it's pretty amazing and pretty powerful. And so I use that myself, but I am working on really putting it out into the earth because it magnifies the energy. And then the device that I have, which I didn't bring to show you, but it can collect energy. It can collect energy from this field inside of this room. I can put a USB into it and have a photograph of petroglyphs or a photograph of crop circles or a photograph of a blooming crocus. Like all of this came out of actually a photograph of a little movie of a daylily, right? Because nature is really alive and giving us a lot more information than we can see. So that's probably another talk, and we can even show that movie because it's really amazing and it can lift us out of sometimes that feeling that we are alone, or maybe sometimes I even feel helpless, and when we really see that we are surrounded by an energy that's supporting us and that can read our energy field and that our energy field can respond to, because there's so many things in the world right now that we're inundated with that are in a way artificial, even if all the medications and prescriptions, they're made from the plants, that grow on the earth, and now they've just been, modified, right? So, and as well as the food, which is a whole nother conversation also. But
We'll have you back.
yeah, okay. All right, so I'd like to work with this a little bit because I think that we can magnify what's happening here. I definitely want to take some water home from the energetic in this room. And so I want to, let's see. I'm trying to make this available, but I really can't be held to a little table. Okay, so I'm gonna start by putting this water, which is a combination of water from here in Taos, and then it's the water.
There's one right next to your chair that's got a lid off of it.
Here. Okay, this is the water from here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna actually pass that water around. And if each of you would I guess, imbue that water, right?
Your intentions in.
Would you like to help me pass them? So
My water is in a plastic jug. Do you think that's a good idea to have?
I think it's fine. Okay, so we were just talking about the water being in a plastic jug. You know what? We're beyond that. We're gonna move that plastic. Like that's what we're doing all the time in our bodies now. So we can't be stopped. So bring it on. Okay. Oh, some organic dust. That looks like magic, doesn't it? Okay, so these little clay pots I have were made by Bernadette Track, who's an amazing potter. And so
Her and these tools.
yeah, let's see, let's go ahead.
And her mama, Sherry Track, was part of this circle.
Yeah.
That's right.
Decades, and her pictures up there. She was such a love. In the middle of the service, whoever was speaking, she would just say, "I love all of you." And it was so beautiful.
These are
We're just gonna start passing it.
Her daughters, Bernadette and so carry on. She was a and
They should pass it, like, in other words, we're gonna have a bunch of these passing at one time,
Okay.
so we can get more viability happening.
Okay.
And then when we start adding it to our, all right, so I can't do that. I'm just gonna everyone here. Everyone here. Okay, so to really potentize this, there is a stirring that happens. So I'm gonna start this water stirring, and as these waters come in, so I'm hoping that, Charles, are you volunteering?
No, I was doing I'd be glad to, but I was doing
Yeah.
clockwise.
Well, we're doing both.
Oh, okay.
We're going one way and we're making a good little whirlpool, and then we're going back the other way. And that actually potentizes, that's how you make a biodynamic preparation
Okay.
for the farm. And normally now you would be doing like a horn silica that you make. We actually pack horns with cow manure and bury them for a season and then dig them up. There's like, it's definitely some druid practices brought forward by Rudolf Steiner. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Rudolf Steiner. And I actually was going to say a verse real quick that I said I was a teacher for 16 years, a Waldorf teacher. And there's something the class says every morning. And I think I have it, but I'm going to have my notes just in case. The sun with loving light makes bright for me each day. The soul with spirit power brings strength unto my limbs. In sunlight shining clear, I revere, O Spirit, that thou so graciously hast planted in my soul, that I with all my might may love to work and learn. So you can imagine the class of, up to 25 students all reciting this every morning. And it becomes something that's within you. And I just wanted to bring that forward because that was a way of education. And what we're making here is a biodynamic preparation, but it's all combined. And when I was like thinking, what am I going to talk about? A few days ago, that verse came into my mind and it just started. And I was like, wow, I still remember that. So anyway, do you want to start, Charles?
Sure. What do we do?
Well, what we're going to do is, I'm going to pour the water. This is our local water.
All right.
Okay, and I do realize I have a bad knee.
Well,
That's why I was thinking I should have put it up there.
that's okay.
But what we're gonna do is we're gonna stir this. And we want to really get it going.
And keep it going or?
And then we're gonna go back the way.
Okay.
And you can do that a few times, as long as you like, and then we're gonna ask for another volunteer. And so usually a farmer will do this for 20 minutes themselves. And, but I feel like we're making a community preparation and that it's more powerful if we can. And if you can't, it's okay. You put your intention into that water, right? But if you'd like to come up and do some stirring, it's an opportunity.
Yeah. Somebody come on in and take my place.
Well, I don't know if I could take your place.
Oh, well, then don't.
I'm gonna go ahead and pour the biodynamic water in. So I hope you weren't planning to just be sitting today.
Next.
Hey.
We can do this together. Let's do it.
Beautiful.
You're so
Yeah.
beautiful, you're so amazing.
Can you touch and feel what's happening?
Water.
Did anyone see Emoto when he was here
Yeah.
a long time ago?
Oh.
Yeah, with the intention of water, and you can do that, put love on your water, and they've proven that changes the structure of the water.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Veda Austin?
What's it?
Veda Austin?
No.
I'll tell you about her after.
Yeah, I'm back.
Olympia.
We'll finish with Jenny giving each one of us a.
What should we do with the?
Oh, so now we want to go ahead and so we're gonna put our another vessel of water in here. And then you can put that down. Thank you. Yeah, all right. The sound of the water is pretty good. I don't know if we can get that.
Excellent.
I'm gonna try. There. So this is, I think, kind of like love made visible. And we're gonna really amplify and spread this, okay? So, don't leave without water, even if we have to search for more container.
There might be some jars in the kitchen. You
want me to
to
go
bring some?
Yeah, that'd be great. Great, so we have some more jars. Let's see. I guess I'm gonna talk a little bit more about right now, how there's things that I'm working on and that I think that, of how to encourage community to come together. And I think Teresa, right? So Teresa actually came a dozen times, half a dozen times over to Amigos through the Taos Time Bank and volunteered, helping like cut up apples so that we could make apple crisp for the students. We also made apple crisp for the Nest homeless shelter. We, at the same time, let's see, what is it called? The Social Justice Book Club, which meets at UNM, which maybe they could come to your book club too. But they contacted me, they wanted to learn about food in our community. And through all the different, I took them to the Pueblo, I brought them to our program, to a lot of different, like, I guess, farms, and to see what was happening within the community. They now have organized themselves, and so once a month they come to Amigos and cook in our kitchen for the Nest homeless shelter. So I felt like that when I took that on, like for 5 days, I led this group around, you know, and but it was beautiful because they all had loving hearts and positive energy. But it was like, oh, this is another thing I'm doing. But it planted a seed, and now that seed is growing. And I think that that kind of circles back to a balance, you know, a balance that we can, like, that makes my work easier. Every time I think about that, then I feel, you know, that what we, so here, so we have a whole bunch of different bottles here for everyone to take some home with you.
Thank you.
So,
Get my hands in.
so I don't know if. All right, how much more time do we have?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay, so maybe I want to plant a seed here. And I don't know quite what that looks like. I didn't like talk to any powers that be ahead of time, except for all of the powers that be.
They've got you.
Yay. You know, but maybe there's something that you already support here, or something that would be, I don't know if there's a potential for having a garden here, if there's already a garden here, if
There's a garden space on the other side over here.
a garden space
Just
that could possibly
It's just
be
hard to keep things watered.
Yeah.
Keep the consistent watering going.
because of needing help or not having enough water.
Well, kind of both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, being conscious of the water consumption.
Yeah.
And having someone on it and
Yeah.
it not getting left on without.
Yeah.
All those things.
I know, when you have
We've tried.
when you have gardens at schools, I face the same issues.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, I just brought that up because that's what I do. But I think that if there is a way that, as a community here to make a difference, that extends beyond our borders, maybe, I don't know what that is, but I'm just putting that out there. And I think that what is happening here every Sunday, and I think even beyond, probably with study groups, et cetera, is potentizing, you know, out into the community, out into the state, out into the country, out into the world. And so, whatever you choose to, I think, imbue your water that you take and the water that we put out here, I know that it's full of love. And that's one thing that I always say about food, that the country day school, that was the Waldorf school, that was full of love also. But the farmhouse, we always say that the food is made with love. And at the school lunch program, we always say the food is made with love. And at the farm, we always are putting out love, the intention of love. And even if food, like say at the public school, we only work with charter schools right now. There's food that comes on the truck and food that, just like we were talking about, plastic in the water or all the things that we might try to avoid. But that food is always made with love by the people at, say, the lunch cafeteria. And so I think that it's a really strong ability to transmute that energy that can come in from time to time. And so we're creating a field here, and that field is going to amplify and going to go further out and reach into all the different aspects of our lives. And if anybody wants to, I don't know what, have coffee, tea, lunch, or talk with me about any of the programs you might be interested in that we do, or have an idea that needs people to do it, I think that that's what we really, as a community, need to do right now. And so that we can create our own regenerative system here. And
Helping in the kitchen is part of that. If you want to be a helper in the kitchen, you can come in the morning and help in the kitchen.
that's right. Well, and I'm just gonna say,
Yes, Shelley helps in the kitchen.
yay.
9 or 9
Yeah.
on Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw Susan in the kitchen too. And I just want to mention a shout out to the Taos Food Co-op, because they have helped us order food so that we're always having, you know, organic tortillas, organic bread, organic things to make our school lunches with. And we partnered together, you know, it used to be that we were helping them meet the amount they needed to order. And now they're really helping us get a continual supply of organic local food. And so I just want to give that shout out. Maybe right now, yes.
Can you tell us some of the menus that you use for the food lunches, for the kids' lunches?
Okay, so let's see, we make organic chicken tacos. So there's like chicken and organic pinto beans and then organic lettuce and all the things that, you know, are toppings for that. And with a fresh salsa. Let's see, we use local beef that is grass-fed and grass-finished from local ranchers here. If the local rancher doesn't have availability, then we do Sweetgrass Beef Co-op, which is another group of ranchers. So it's part of the economy. We also make vegetarian like burrito bowls that are with brown rice and with pinto beans and with, you know, all the toppings. Let's see, I'm trying to think, we make burritos, we make even like the traditional spaghetti, but it's always with organic tomato sauce. And everybody has an option of gluten-free, vegetarian, what else, dairy-free. And then the regular lunch is really high quality, made with those ingredients I mentioned. We're right now using Dave's Killer Bread because that's like our best value for the what we're doing. But like, I actually want to have a local bakery, a big production bakery, because I spend $1,500 a week on all those breads and tortillas. And so we are starting a project with the Pueblo of growing more blue corn and having that available to feed to the children in the form of atole and blue corn muffins, blue corn pancakes, and then we can have tortillas. And so that we're doing right now for breakfast, those items I mentioned. And like blue corn is really medicinal, and it'd be really good for us to incorporate it into our diet if we can. It's very different than like regular corn. But so that's an example also. Yeah. But the main thing I want to do is bring that economy and bring that here. I mean, I know we have a number of different artists and bakers that make delightful bread, really delicious, healthy, but I need more bread than that. So I'm actually working on partnering with UNM, and they just got $350,000, I think, from Bobby Gonzalez through the state legislature for some equipment in their culinary art program that's going to happen in the old armory, which is the new armory to me, but.
Is Lucero Farm at all?
Yeah,
Are you
so
guys
Rio
gonna be
Lucero
working?
Farm is one of our CSA farms.
It is.
And then we also buy food from Emma I mean, from the whole farm, but Emma Patterson is really, I think, that a driving force there. And so, yeah, we actually have right now,
Cause it's so close, it's right across the street.
yeah.
Basically from you.
we have kale and we have lettuce from their farm at Amigos right now in our local market. We also have carrots from Cerro Vista Farm that are still delicious, way better than California. Yeah, so, and then we work with other farms as well, because we want to help build the whole farming network. When I started the school lunch program, I started with 75 kids, and, you know, teachers came to me and they're like, we don't know what to do with this. We don't know how to deal with, you know, what the kids are eating. And so I started this program, and I actually said, I'm gonna build the local farming network on the back of the USDA lunch program, because it's like $4.69 now per meal, which is hardly anything. And if you're purchasing, you know, they eat 2 pieces of organic fruit every day, which is about $1. And then, you know, you kind of add it up. But the point of it is actually feeding children and how we feed them has been identified as one of the most important things that we can shift for whatever you want to talk about, you know, climate change, for preserving our water, for our carbon footprint. And so it's, you know, they're talking about it now internationally. And I think it's the perfect thing, because water and children are so important for us. So just to close, I want to come back to our water here, which is so still and full of love. And I just want, maybe if everyone could kind of focus here, and then you can come up and get some water, so that, just so that we kind of, I did a lot of talking in between this action here, and I want to just top that off with our love and energy and whatever, just so we have a little bit of that here. All right. Are you gonna actually, will you come out and give us a little sprinkle? Come on. We're gonna get a little few love sprinkles. If you don't want any, you can like stick your hand up.
You're just gonna get it.
Thank you.
Bless you, one more time. Just for you in the back.
Bless yourself. Bless yourself.
Who knew she's a great sprinkler too?
Oh, really good.
All right, well, thank you for having me. I honestly earlier thought, did I add one more thing to my plate? Because I was kind of like a little nervous, because I've had something every day. And now I know why. So thank you so much. It's
Thank
really.
you.